We are now well into 2025 and there are some amazing new design trends that are coming out, and yet there are 11 that are still sticking around that absolutely refuse to die. If you're new here, my name is Tash. I'm an interior designer that loves making design accessible to everyone, and today we are going to be looking at those 11 and seeing whether or not they should be sticking around or whether their time has passed. Before we do though, make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe if you would like to be a part of more design adventures. Our first design on the chopping block is burl wood furniture. Now, this was a trend so long ago, my grandmother is now back in style. That is how long it has been since this particular trend was out.
How do you do, fellow kids?
I have a little bit of mixed feelings about this one. One part of me really likes it because we're using different types of timber grains so then we can get a different effect. But in saying that, I am not a huge fan of it for whatever reason. Yes, it has a more unique organic look, but I find that it isn't as universal as normal timber grain furniture, and sometimes the application can just look wrong. Now, I've been seeing this start to come in through 2024, and I was really hoping it wasn't going to be as big of a trend as it is, but I am seeing it more and more. And if my grandmother's furniture has anything to say for it, this one should stay in the past. The next one is one that I personally really do love, but maybe we took it a little bit too far, and that is biophilic design. Now, for those of us that do not know what biophilic design is, it is pretty much using plants as part of your design style. And some people went fully crazy with this trend a couple of years ago, and it just kind of stuck around because a lot of people are plant parents now. I really do like this trend because we're utilizing nature and bringing that back inside. It's great for our mental health, it's great to have something to tend to, and it also creates an organic look that just isn't replicable with normal furniture pieces. Personally, I am one of those people that loves having plants in a space. I do think it brings life into a space, and so I do feel like this design trend actually should stick around, maybe not to the extent that it has. I have noticed that some people will just utilize plants in excess as a way of creating design rather than just being thoughtful about the particular pieces they're using. Personally, I would like to see people doing more intentional choices with their plants to create a certain effect. So, for example, if you were wanting to create more of a minimalist sort of look that has more organic elements, I think cacti and yuccas can look really, really cool. But if you're wanting to make a space feel very lived in and very decorative, something that's a little bit more bushy and almost foresty can really work in that space. And I would love to see people be more specific with the particular plants they choose and use it as a feature rather than an overexpressive idea. This is not to say that I don't love this trend or plants, I just think we need to reel it in a little bit. So I would love for this one to stay. What do you guys think? This next one is one that kind of bothers me because originally I really liked it because it utilized organic shapes and we got some really unique pieces, and that is organic or squiggly furniture. Now, as a caveat, I do have organic shaped mirrors. I absolutely adore them. But in saying that, we started getting some really weird squiggly like furniture pieces, particularly coffee tables, and it's just not it. It is time to leave this one in the past. It looks like really weird poops, and I am not a fan. The pros with this particular trend was that people got more creative with their designs and got more creative than just having a square, a rectangle, or a circle. And that was the thing that I really loved about this trend to begin with. However, it just kind of went a step too far. They started making squiggly pieces that just didn't really work in a space, and it really set you into a very specific design style. Especially if you're really wanting to make this a feature piece, yes, it could look okay, but then if everything else was also organically shaped, it kind of lost its voice. So personally for me, this one is not one that we should be keeping into 2025, and we should leave this one in the past. This next one is probably going to bother all the builders out there because this has been such a big trend, particularly with mass-built houses, and that is high contrast spaces. So what am I talking about when I mention high contrast? I'm meaning white, black, and oak timber. And that is pretty much everything we have seen in builder design for the last 10 years.
Excuse me, brah. You're excused.
And I'm not your bra.
Although I I do still really like high contrast spaces, it's this low budget high contrast that's just feeling very tired and worn. Particularly with black faucets or black hardware, it's just not looking very nice long term, and it's starting to get very dated very quickly. If you did want to do high contrast, I would love for you to do that, but just make it a little bit more unique. Do it yourself, find something that's a little less builder-grade style and make it a little different. So instead of going for that white timber flooring, the white paint, and the black hardware, perhaps try something a little different. So maybe use gunmetal as your hardware. This is not to say that this trend should completely go. I do think it is quite a nice trend and it can make a space look and feel really clean. But I would love to see this one evolve because it's just feeling very overdone and very overused. This next one, I don't think we should get rid of just yet. It is a very timeless pattern, but I do believe it has been overused to some capacity, and that is the checkerboard pattern. Now, if you remember, this was definitely probably the biggest in 2023, but I was still seeing it in 2024 where you would have a rug that had a checkerboard pattern and it came in all different shapes and colors, squiggly or just structured. You might even remember that traditional checkerboard flooring actually came back into fashion, and although I do love this trend, I think it does need to suppress down a little bit and become less of the focal point. During this time period, it was very obvious that checkerboards were the focal point, and although this is a timeless sort of design style, I think we just need to mute it down a little bit. So instead of a very high contrast white and black, maybe opt for a cream and grey or something that isn't as in your face. So even though we are still having a lot of tiles, you can still utilize this pattern and still have it feel really, really nice. I just think the high contrast look is probably not going to be sticking around. So imagine white and pink, white and orange, black and lime green.
Or something really classy, like white leather. I'll call the guy that did my car seat.
So any of those weird color combinations, I think need to stick in the past. But in saying that, it is a very timeless type of pattern, so I don't see this one going away completely. I think it can look very beautiful. The application is just going to change a little bit. Speaking of pattern and funky colors and just mess all over the place, we need to talk about Grand Millennial. Now, Grand Millennial, I don't even know why got as much attention as it did, because I don't actually think very many normal people actually liked this. Obviously, it reminded a lot of people of their grandparents. The pattern on pattern, the slight mismatched nature of it is a very interesting sort of trend. However, in saying that, I don't see this one sticking around for all that much longer. I think this one is one that should be left in the past. Not to say that I don't think pattern on pattern can work, but the busyness of this type of pattern on pattern just wasn't working. And the reason why is because a lot of the Grand Millennial choices with patterns were all very similar scale size. Let's say you had the checkerboard pattern and you had it as the size of my hand. And then you go ahead and you get a flower pattern as well. You put it right next to it, but it's also the same scale as my hand. What should be done in most cases to make a space feel more balanced is that checkerboard pattern should actually be a lot smaller, and then the flower pattern should be a little bit larger. So then there is contrast in the actual scale of pattern. And unfortunately with Grand Millennial, this very rarely was the case. And so it just felt like a clash of patterns and an overstimulation of the environment. And although it can look good in certain occasions, it does require a lot of thought process and a lot of time to pick the perfect materials. So I don't really think this one is going to be sticking around all that much longer. I really hope it doesn't. I do like the fact that people are being a bit more bolder with their pattern choices and even color choices as well. But I do think this one might be just a step too far. Now, this one I have a major pet peeve for, and you can tell me if I am a little bit over emotional about this, but what is the point in furniture that is uncomfortable? Like, okay, I don't even know what to call this segment. Uncomfortable furniture that's meant to look weird. We're going to call it that. We just went through a major phase of this, and this is a little bit with our next one that I'm going to talk about. But we started bringing in furniture pieces that were solely for looks. And mind you, this is not a new thing. We have done this with mid-century furniture and futuristic sort of furniture. But we brought it to a new level, to the point where even just sitting on it looks like it'd be the wrong thing to do. And I'm meaning those weird squiggly chairs that you see in AD, and I just do not understand this trend. Personally, I am someone that likes to design a space to make it usable.
Inconceivable!
If you're not going to use that piece of furniture, why is it even there? Like, I'm not opposed to having an occasional chair that probably isn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but looks really nice and has a bit more of a statement feature. But we started doing this to the point where it was like half the furniture in the space was like not sittable. And I am so over this one. I am hoping this one stays in the past. It is not functionable. It's not cost effective. It is very, very temporary. It is too trendy and it needs to go. I don't know if I'm just being, this one's probably actually the one that pisses me off the most. Out of this entire list, this one is the most annoying to me, and I am so over it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this one. This next one was certainly an accessory to the murder of comfortability, and that was Gen Z maximalism. Now, I actually liked Gen Z maximalism because it was really playful, it was very fun, and yes, it was a little bit childish, but I liked the fact that people were getting very creative with form, with color, with patterns. It had a lot of good things going for it. But then in saying that, they also chose to go with uncomfortable furniture that was not going to stick around, and I was not a fan of that part. And as much as I did like certain aspects of the Gen Z style, this particular type of maximalism I felt was something that was extremely trendy, and although did play with a lot of these different materials that I liked, wasn't going to be something that people will stick around with for long term. Now, although I'm doing a video about trends, I personally like to design places and things without the idea of trends in mind. I want this to be a space that is more comfortable and sticks around for a lot longer than just a season. And this maximalism style, it just isn't it. I don't see it being something that people are going to want to aspire towards in the next 10 years. Maybe there'll be the occasional one or two people where that is definitely their brand, but it is a bit more of a rarity. And I feel like it is similar to that grand millennial sort of style where, yes, there are going to be people that like it, but it's not going to be many. And it is not a style that we should be really thinking about bringing into 2025 and beyond. This next one I am so happy is making its exit, and that is open concept homes. Now, you might be ready to argue with me and think, Tash, no way are you talking about open concepts homes being a bad thing. And I don't want to say that, you know, there's a complete destruction of style or anything like that with open concept homes. I do think there were a lot of positives about it. It definitely gave the perception that people had more space and people were able to communicate from multiple rooms because it was all one giant room. In saying that though, I do think we probably took it a little too far with the open concept aspects, and we are now starting to see that change. Now, if you have watched one of my more recent videos about design trends for this year, you will know that partitions are a big thing happening now. And part of the reason is because people want to create cozier spaces, they want to zone better. If you've ever moved into a brand new house that is fully open concept, you've probably just sat there and scratched your head and gone, how am I meant to lay this place out? Like, sometimes it can be very difficult to go, okay, where should the couch go? Where should the dining room go? It's very paint your own adventure pretty much. And we are starting to see this close. Now, I'm not saying that this should completely disappear. I do think open concept has its place in the world, especially as we move into smaller apartment living and smaller spaces in general. But in saying that, I do think a level of zoning, even if it's just partial zoning, is a very good thing for people, because this tells you, okay, I am in here for this particular reason. It doesn't muddy the water, and that might sound silly unless you maybe have worked from home before. If you've worked from home and you've been in the living room and then the dining room and then you've been in the office, sometimes there are some spaces where it's better for focus and you know you're meant to do something in that space. And this is just reviving that idea of, okay, this room has a purpose and only one purpose. And I am very excited for that. I think it might bring in more traditional styles again. It might bring in more furniture pieces that are more unique because we have these more structured rooms. And I think people will actually be a little bit more creative with their spaces as well, because it's not as daunting as one giant box. And that is what I love about this particular trend. I know that this one's definitely not going to disappear completely, but I do like the evolution that we are currently seeing with people and their spaces. Now, this one has been a trend for a lot of different niches, not just design, but hair, makeup, fashion, anything along those sorts of lines, quiet luxury has been something that people have been craving for. A lot of people have been wanting to get that warmer, more elegant sort of aesthetic and feel a little bit more timeless in their looks and even in their homes. This one I am not opposed to. I actually think that this one is something that we're seeing a lot in 2025, especially with our colors of the year. It's definitely a more warmer and neutral sort of look. And although I am not a neutral girly, I do obviously like color. I think that this is definitely one of those ones where you kind of go, this one's going to stick around and it's going to be a good thing as well. People are going to sit there and think, okay, if I want to have this quiet luxury look, I want to make sure that this space looks timeless, has character, has thought into it. And instead of having these constant trends that come in and out every season, you've got something that's going to be sticking around for a lot longer. So there's a chance for higher craftsmanship or quality of furniture and even just appreciation of your space as well. So this one I believe is a net positive, and I reckon we're going to be seeing this one for a lot longer. Our final one for today is scallops, and this one has come in pretty quickly and I feel like it's coming out as quick as it came in. In saying that though, it does remind me of ruffles and more embellishing sort of aspects that we have kind of long forgotten, especially with modern design. So there are a few positives with this particular look. I don't think it's too over the top where people don't feel like they can use it in their space and they can use it more subtly. And I think that's where this trend is particularly going. We were starting to see scallops going on, vanities and on like sconces and even more like structural pieces in the actual architecture of the home. And as much as I do enjoy it, I think it's just one of those things that have just been overdone way too quickly. It's like playing your favorite song 10 times in a day and then by next week you're over it. I do think that this can be a more timeless look, but because of how quickly it's come in, I don't see this one sticking around for as long as it probably should. I do like it, but in saying that, I think the application has just been wrong. I think, if it was a more subtle application, people would be more inclined to go with it and see it as more of a timeless piece, but because it has been just shoved down our throats, I think people are already over it, and I don't see this one progressing much further than 2025. Well, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if there are any that you think should stick around, if you think I'm wrong. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you guys on our next design adventure.